to me, this is an important statement. In upstate New York, we all know, especially in the Syracuse area on top of it, with no more than ever can we afford to lose thousands of good-paying jobs. The UFCW is on ongoing discussions with Penn Traffic and potential investors to find solutions that keep as many of these stores as possible open. Grocery stores are a very important integral part to our neighborhoods and our both businesses and employers. A reckless fire sale would cause lasting damage to the communities and working families of upstate New York. Do we need another 3,500 more people in central New York out of work and on government programs? Do we need 3,500 people in central New York waiting around for Washington, D.C. politicians to debate whether we do need health care reform? Or do we need in our community and want our community the 3,500 people working in good jobs with decent wages and employers-provided health benefits and pensions? That's why we're actively looking for buyers who will keep as many of our members working as possible. We don't want to wait for the government to come in, and we don't feel happy about telling our members they have to go out and get government assistance. We want to be able to provide that for them. UFCW Local One and UFCW International Union have been working with Penn Traffic. The rumors are that Price Chopper is looking to purchase some of these PNC stores. Price Chopper states in their advertisements they are not just in the neighborhood, they are your neighbor. We ask Price Chopper, if they end up with some of these stores, that they be a good neighbor, like they say they are, and they hire these hard-working people. For all of us, it is very sad and disappointing to see that Penn Traffic is in bankruptcy for the third time. Penn Traffic workers are members, are consumers, taxpayers, caretakers, neighbors, and are the backbone of the communities they serve. We are working day and night to find a buyer, and we hope that we'll have a successful outcome to this. So, from there, I'll open up any questions you might have.
Brent, can you tell us how those efforts are going in finding other buyers?
I'm going to be optimistic, and I think they're going real good. We have union employers all across the country that we do business with on a day-to-day basis. And in today's world, when you have the health and welfare and pensions, your unions and your employers have become a little bit tighter because we're all trying to work out solutions that are affecting us. So I got to tell you something. At this point in time, I'm optimistic. Now, am I optimistic? And what I'm going to report to our stewards is I don't want to sugarcoat this. This isn't like the first two bankruptcies where we were able to get someone to come in and absorb all the stores. That's not going to happen. If we can get a new employer in, maybe we can save 80%, 90% of these stores, 2/3 of these stores. I do know this. With a union employer, that can be done. You have the warehouses, CNS. If a non-union employer comes in, such as a Price Chopper, they're not going to pay those wages, and they're not going to pay the health care benefits that these members have. And as a matter of fact, they're not going to hire them back. The law states that they hire 50% back, then they have to deal with the union in some form whatsoever in negotiating. So we know from the history that they don't hire back people. So as I said in the statement, that's why it was important to me, and I hope we can get that out. These people that are in Syracuse, where the bulk of these stores, these are people that have been there 20, 30 years. They're part of Syracuse. We have Carrier, we have everybody going down there. And, we can't afford that. We can't afford to put these are out of Syracuse. You probably got 2,200, 2,300 jobs, and a good majority of them are full timers that have health care. You go and ask Price Chopper. Go walk into their stores. Take those cameras into those stores and ask Price Chopper people working behind the counters if they have health care, and if they do, how much they have to pay for it. So these are good jobs, and they're good union jobs, and that's why it's important we find a suitor or a buyer who's going to want to sit down and talk to us. And again, to answer your question, I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic that we're going to be able to do something.
Realistic to think that you're going to be able to find one buyer even if they can keep 85% of the stores open, or is this going to be?
I think it's realistic that there could be a buyer that buys the nucleus of these stores. Is it realistic to say that we're going to keep 79 stores operating? That's how many that this chain has under their banners, of which 59 are represented by UFCW Local One. Is that realistic? Probably not. Okay, but we do know this. We do know from the company that we talk to all the time, and represented them for years and years and years. We do know that their nucleus stores, they have some very profitable stores. So, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out. If you have quite a few profitable stores, And a new employer can come in there and say, listen, you got 59 stores and 40 of them are very profitable and 19 aren't. Well, we don't want these 19, but we'll make a bid for the 40 of those. And we could easily say, and you know, Price Chopper would say, or Hannaford or any other non-union employer, well, we're going to have the same number of people working. Yeah, but they're going to be different faces, different people. They won't be making the same rates, and they definitely won't have the same benefits. So for us, it's a matter of keeping those same people, as many as we can, in those stores. Before the end of the year, I think this bankruptcy proceeding, because it is a liquidation. This isn't like the first two bankruptcies where it's an order of protection to keep the wolves off the employer's back to allow them to reorganize. That's not what this is. This is to liquidate, to get the money to pay these creditors off, these debtors off, I should say. And that's what this is. So I look for the timetable to be very fast on the procedures of bankruptcy. If a company doesn't come to buy these stores,
you don't have a company needs to come in.
Okay, I'll answer that two parts. I think if you're saying if a union company doesn't come in to buy these stores, then we know for a fact that, like again, if a Price Chopper or a Hannaford or non-union company come in, there's no secret. We fight with them constantly. You know, whether it be organizing, whether it be the Employee Free Choice Act, or whatever the case is. So. Will they hire back people? No. We already know from past practice, Price Chopper, when Tops closed their stores in this area the first time about 7 years ago, and Price Chopper bought some of those stores. PNC bought some. When PNC bought them, they hired them all back, everybody back. When Price Chopper bought them, they hired less than 10% of the employees back. So that's a fact. That's a number. For them to sugarcoat that, to say they'll give you know what they'll say? They're going to give everybody an opportunity to apply. Truth of the matter is they'll hire less than 10% back. So if that happens, well, then we got to put an all-out scale. I'm going to be coming to the media. I'm going to be hoping to have a lot more press conferences like this, and I hope for that you'll allow me to show up in front of your cameras again. And I'm going to ask the public to support a boycott on Price Chopper, or pressure on Price Chopper, or whoever the non-union employer might be. We're certainly not going to walk away from the Syracuse area and allow, or from any area and allow 3,500 union members to be out of work. We have to do something. Hopefully, with 3,500 people, you have enough people and enough workforce to have a little bit of an army that's going to show up and pass out handbills and tell the customers how this company has rudely treated them. The company never once said that a membership or their employees, hey, listen, everything's going to be okay. They said from day one, this is liquidation. Liquidation means that chances are you don't have a job. And again, as I said earlier, we're talking about people that have 30, 25, 28 years. We're not talking about, you know, basis of part-timers. These are career jobs that are paying taxes, that are buying product, that are buying gasoline in the Syracuse area. And you guys in Syracuse, you know, we can't afford this. We can't afford more job losses like this. And we certainly can't afford to substitute those faces with different faces, making $3, $4 an hour less with no health care benefits. And I said in my report, what, waiting for Washington, D.C. to get done and decide whether we need health care reform or not? Coming down, I really appreciate it. Yeah, there are. No, there are. The people in the back, everybody are, I just wanted to hear the students.